Hello everyone, I am Kim Hibbs with Hibbs Homes. We are a custom home builder, a high performance builder based in St. Louis, but we also build our beautiful homes out in northern Utah. This is my trusty sidekick, also known as Chris Pedigo. He's our director of construction, all things quality, quality control, if you will. And I wanted to invite Chris to join us because he's been with our team now for 8 years, 9 years, a very long time. And he really has been one who's helped guide us into the high performance arena, if you will. So we're going to be talking about high performance homes. Exactly what does that mean? But before we talk about high performance homes, Chris, we need to talk about a high performance baseball team in the St. Louis Cardinals, right?
Yes.
So we're that's Melody behind the camera. She's our producer, Melody Miners, and we're in the St. Louis area. And for those of you who possibly are living under a rock, the team has now won 17 games in a row. We clinched a playoff berth.
Absolutely.
And so we decided that we would tape or we would do today's show in front of our pictures here. And here's Yadier Molina for the Cardinals. So that kind of explains what we're doing, why we're here. We're actually in the office of our superintendents, and Neil Helfer brought in our sports themed wall of fame, if you will. So that kind of explains where we are and what we're doing. So from a high performance baseball team to a high performance home. Chris, when I say the term high performance, what do I mean?
Multifaceted. So high performance home involves many things. The first thing that comes to everybody's mind is the performance and how the home performs energy wise, which is a big component of that. The home performs well. It's got high performance components, mechanical systems and house envelope, how the house is built that makes the home perform from an energy standpoint well. The other side of that, or the things that come into high performance, are also how does that home comfort? How comfort is involved with high performance, water management, green building science, the health factors that come into a high performance home. That a home that's a high performance home is a healthier climate to live in.
And we're gonna talk about many of these things as we go along. We'll probably spend 20 minutes or so here today. And by the way, I wanted to mention, if you have any questions about high performing building, please let us know. Go ahead and give us that information. We'll be happy to answer the questions. And we're going to select a winner of an enamel today. Melody, what is today? National Coffee Day?
Yes.
It's National Coffee Day, so we have an enamel coffee mug plus some fresh roasted coffee from Telio, which is a brand new, I guess it's a locally owned coffee shop in the Kirkwood area from here in St. Louis. So we thank Telio for providing the fresh roasted coffee and the enamel coffee mug, but it's going to be part of our process today, so we look forward to giving that away as we go along. So when we first meet with clients, they've learned that Hibbs Homes is a high-performance builder. Melody's done a great job kind of explaining that on our website and a lot of our marketing material. I look at it myself, as you said, you were talking about earlier. What are the benefits of it? Lower heating and cooling bills for sure. Much more cleaner indoor air quality, much more comfortable home, room to room, floor to floor, and a much more durable home. We say we're building 100-year homes.
Right.
The way I look at how do we get there, I look at a few different things. The wall assembly, the windows, the insulation package, and the HVAC. But I also know that it can start at the foundation phase. So we look at it kind of from a holistic standpoint. So let's start and unpack some of those areas. Again, we're talking homes that are more efficient, more durable, cleaner indoor air quality, what's the last one? Cleaner indoor air quality, more comfortable, durable. Melody, I'm missing the word. I just mentioned it a minute ago.
Uses less energy.
Less
Right.
energy. There we go.
Yeah, that's so that I would add that, so that your impact on the environment,
Right.
which is last but not least, when you talk about that's some of people's primary focus is yes, this is going to save me money, yes, this is going to be a more comfortable home, but I feel good about my house and the fact that I am using less energy for the next, it's not for the next year or two. This is a home that's going to use less energy for the life of the home, so that's a huge impact on the environment as well.
So let's start with the exterior walls, which is very important. What do we at Hibbs Homes focus on, or what should anybody wanting to build a high-performance home, what should they be looking for when it comes to that wall assembly and building one of these homes?
So there's kind of three components, I would say. There's your insulation component, which is kind of
We'll
really
talk about that in a
is
minute.
going to determine how that wall performs. There's an air seal component, which is exchanges, your air exchanges per hour is important, and so you've got your insulation, you've got your air seal, and then on the exterior you've got your moisture management, and it's kind of a complete package, but you need all three of them to work in conjunction with each other.
But it also starts with the actual wall assembly itself.
Sure.
We prefer to build 2x6 walls versus 2x4 because it allows us to increase the insulation.
Yes.
And it also and the insulation is going to give you a better efficiency, and it's going to make the home more quiet as well. So we prefer 2x6 over 2x4 walls, but we've also built homes out of SIPs, structural insulated panels.
Right.
We've done double studded walls where you have 2 rows of studs, and that gives you more room for insulation, if you will, and it prevents what they call thermal bridging. We're not going to try not to get too technical, but understand there's a lot of different things we can do to help you build this home depending upon what level you want it to perform. We built net zero homes, which means those are homes that are producing as much energy as they are consuming. And then we've also, if a client just wants a very well built, very efficient home, we've done that as well. There's something called ICF, insulated concrete forms. That's where you have concrete in the middle of insulation on the exterior. Your steel is in the middle of it. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but probably most of our clients are going to focus on typical construction methods, which means 2x6 walls, a real good window package, because you want to make sure that the window is properly installed, properly sealed, has the proper insulating U factors, R factors, and things like that. But then we want to talk about insulation, because there are choices. Now, Chris, you mentioned a good caulk and seal package and an insulation package. Mm-hmm. Talk about that and why it's important.
Well, it's important, like you said, number one, from a comfort standpoint, to make sure the house performs, and for the soundproofing. The air sealing is something that's above and beyond the insulation package. That's additionally important to make sure that house, you want to control how that house interacts with the environment outside. You don't want to have the house just randomly drawing air into the system, and you don't have any control over that. So what we do is build the house as tight as we can. We caulk and seal it to where we have an outside air that's controlled. We bring it in through an ERV, through a fresh air intake, but we can exactly control that air coming in. We can condition it. We can bring in the proper amount that the house performs, but still has the fresh air for air quality.
So there's a saying in our business, build it tight and ventilate it right. Yes. You're talking about building a tight house to control the airflow, but we also want to make sure we're able to exhaust any stale air or air that needs to be exhausted out of the house.
Correct.
And we can control that as well.
Right, yeah, and then that's why that fresh air is also important, because you can't exhaust air unless you're bringing in that air to replace it properly.
Right.
So you want to exhaust that stale air, you want to bring in the proper amount of fresh air, and with the right systems in place, you can control that and make sure that that's all an energy efficient and proper process.
You had mentioned the importance of your water management,
mm-hmm.
not only on the exterior of the house, making sure the windows and doors are properly flashed, making sure your weather barrier is installed properly, making sure you have flashing at different areas of your wall assemblies where gutters come together and that type of thing. But also managing the moisture inside of the house. You want to make sure you have humidifiers, dehumidifiers, mm-hmm. and something as simple when we talk to our clients is we help educate them that let's put your bath fan on a timer. So when you walk in, you push a button for 20 minutes, or maybe it has a humidistat. Because when you take a shower, we're building a house tight. We want to make sure that moist air is being ventilated out of the house. So we're truly looking this from a holistic standpoint. We look at a lot of different areas.
Absolutely, and basically, and it's an overall process that, when you start moisture management, it's a process from the day we put the footings in mm-hmm. all the way till the day.
Why the footings?
So that's part of the moisture management. So your footings and your foundation are a source of humidity in the house if you don't properly seal that. So we actually seal the tops of our footings so that moisture cannot come up through the footings into your foundation, at which point it dries into the house and creates humidity to the basement. Okay. So it's a spot where from day one, when we're putting that footing in, we're managing that moisture. We've got it in mind as we're framing walls with the wall systems, roof, flashings, and if everything works together, if you skip one step, then you've made a weak spot and a weak link in your chain.
Right.
So it basically is an overall system, all the way down to landscaping. When you bring those gutters down, we're piping that water out in the yard and getting it away from the house, so that it's not getting down into your subgrade. So it truly is a complete, from day one till move in. It's a complete process that you need to focus on and not skip a step.
And we again want to refer to this as a holistic approach, and that includes the roof trusses, because most of the time, again, not trying to get too complicated, but we for most of our projects will what they call raise our heels on our trusses. So that's going to raise the truss at that exterior wall by 12 to 18 inches. And that simply allows us to move the insulation out over that wall, so you have a much deeper insulation at the wall assembly. And that's just a weak area. If you have your normal trusses, your bottom cord, your top cord where it comes down on the wall, it's a very thin area that you have for insulation. But if you raise your truss heels, it allows the insulation to come out. No longer a weak point. It helps with the performance of the house. So we truly do look at all areas, including HVAC, which is probably the most, well, I won't say the most critical. It's an important component of what we're dealing with, isn't it?
It is, right. It needs to be properly sized, because when you do build a house that performs and exchanges air like ours does, the HVAC is critical, that you're getting that indoor air quality and that the house is actually performing. Because if that HVAC system is not designed and installed correctly and it's not running properly, it's not doing its job. You need it to process air. You need it to control humidity. You need it to filter your air. So if your system doesn't match the rest of the house, then you're not getting that full effect of what that system should be doing.
One of the things that people always ask us, and I know you also are very active in meeting with new clients and talking about sales and that type of thing, they always want to know what's the cost to build a high performance home. And what I typically tell them is, we're experienced at this, so we've found a lot of ways to build a very highly efficient home, a high performing home that adds very little cost to the overall budget. It really depends upon what level someone wants to take it to. We can add maybe, a 1% or 2% to your construction budget and still deliver a well-built, high-performing home. If you want to take it to the next level, I generally tell people to plan on 3%, maybe 5% at the most of your budget. But if you want to kind of take it to the level where you have net zero, that's where you have to introduce the solar component, solar thermal water heating. You also have solar panels, either in a field or on the roof or something. Then I tell people, depending upon the price of the house, it could add as much as 10%. But what we help with, and what other builders I know help with as well, is trying to help our clients understand, okay, if we're going to spend this extra money, what is our payback? Number one, how long is it going to take to pay back? And then number two, what is it going to do to our monthly operating costs? Because what we're trying to do is lower those monthly operating costs. So if we're lowering our monthly operating cost, in theory, you can afford a little bit more on your monthly mortgage, because you have more money to spend because you're spending less on utility bills. So we like to help educate our clients, walk them through the process, understand the benefits of high performance building, the cost, the payback, and it's something that I know you focus very heavily on in our clients here. And then Amy Harold, who deals with our clients in northern Utah, really helps them understand as well, kind of the benefits to it.
Right, and it really is a give and take, and a lot of it starts with that initial conversation on what the goal of a house is and how long the client's going to be in the house. And some clients are very focused on the energy from a standpoint of, we're going to be in the house, this is our lifetime house, and this is going to save us money in the long run. Mm-hmm. Some people are more focused on, I want the energy savings because I'm really concerned about the carbon footprint of the house, and I'm super environmentally conscious, and yeah, I'm only going to be in the house for 10 years and I might not make all of my money back, but it's important to me from that aspect. So, we have that initial conversation as to what level are you looking for and why, and then try to balance that, budget versus performance, and make it a complete package that fits each individual client.
Absolutely, and I mentioned that it does cost a little bit more to build these high-performing homes, but on the flip side, those homes also, it's been proven that those homes also appraise for more on the back end. So right. Paying a little bit more, appraising out for a higher value, but paying much less for your monthly heating and cooling right. bills. Want to remind everybody again, if you have any questions, we're going to be here just for a few more minutes. Would love to take some questions. And we have a coffee mug and a bag of fresh roasted coffee from Pedigo Coffee here in the Kirkwood area. So feel free to let us know if you have any questions. What did we miss in this conversation? Is there Anything in particular? Let's talk briefly about climate zones, because I know we have followers from all over the country. Every climate zone is a little bit differently. So what we're talking about here, you might build a little bit differently down in the southern climate zones versus the north. We in the St. Louis area are typically built in climate zone 4, which is difficult because it's really hot and humid in the summer, cold and dry in the winter. We have tornadoes, we have earthquakes. You know, when we're building out in northern Utah, we're in climate zone 5 and 6, colder areas, so we have to treat those construction projects a little bit differently. So make sure that when you get with your builder, you talk to them about, and you ask them about building high performance homes. You know, you factor in some of these things that we're talking about here. The climate zone will matter as far as how you build that house, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's in a big way, really. And you know, and the other thing, you know, that we haven't touched on really is when we talk about that design and the features that come in, is it actually does start at the design phase. Because you know, when we get in with our clients and we talk about, hey, here's the piece of property this house is on. The other thing that comes into that green design and that high performance design is the property itself, and how much sun does it get, and which way is that house going to face, and how, you know, how can we shade this window in the summer but get it the sun in the winter. So it's that's the one thing we haven't touched on yet, is that actual design. If you haven't designed the house yet, you can incorporate the property itself and how the house sits on the land of that into that green design as well.
Yeah, and that's very important not to be overlooked, because when you're looking at whatever lot on which you want to build the house, make sure you take all that into consideration. Existing trees, before you remove them, understand that you might want them in the summer to block the sun, whereas in the winter with no leaves, it's going to allow the sun to come in. Overhangs, another big thing. You know, we usually like our homes to be designed with larger overhangs. And again, the reason for that is because when the sun is high in the summer, it's going to block the sun, the overhangs will, but when the sun is lower in the winter, those overhangs will let the sun come into the home and help warm it. So it really is, it's a process that I've been learning now for 16 years, since we decided to build high performance homes beginning back in 2005. Mm-hmm. I know, Chris, you built many habitat homes to those high levels of performance standards as well before coming over to Hibbs.
Right.
And it's just something about who we are and how we build. Lots of great custom builders out there, no matter where you are. Just maybe, you know, look up high performance. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're called green builders. But anybody, if you're looking for a high performance home, this is kind of like a real quick capsule of what to look for and what to ask your builder about.
Sure.
But there's a lot of great builders around the country who follow these practices and build really awesome homes.
There are, and whether it's with us or another builder, keep in mind, I mean, ask questions, stay involved in that process. Mm-hmm. Because just because you design you know, if you're going to build a high performance home, you should be involved and you should understand not only, yeah, hey, my home performs great. You should understand why. And if you're going to live in that house and you're going to spend that money on that, and that's one of the things we do with our clients. I like to walk through at that insulation phase, mm-hmm. at that caulk and seal phase, and at that water, and talk about the water management. Here's what we're doing and why, so that when you move into that house, you not only understand that it performs well, but you understand why, and you understand the benefits you're getting, because there are a lot of unseen benefits in that. Yeah. That you know, and if you understand how it's all going together and why, don't be afraid to ask questions and really understand your house, because if you're going to spend that money on it and get that impact and that advantage of having that high performance home, it would be good to understand how it works and why.
A question that was just asked, and it's actually a very good question, is let's talk about the differences between a production builder, semi-custom, and a custom builder. So production builder, if you're driving down the road, you see a big development with lots of homes being built. Many of the homes look like they're about the same size, the same, you know, shape, and maybe different elevations, the front elevations and all. That's a production builder. Semi-custom is kind of in between a custom builder and a production builder. Semi-custom builder will have plans that they've built before. They will allow you to change those plans to some extent, and they will also build on your lot somewhere. And then there's a custom builder, which is who we are. A custom builder is going to build on your lot somewhere. So we've never built the same home twice. We design the home from scratch. We let our clients pick out all of the different finishes, the selections and all. So those are the differences between a production, a semi-custom, and a custom builder. And from my experience, there are some production builders, not many, but there are some production builders who have options for the level of high performance that you want. You'll find that there's more semi-custom builders who understand high performance and will allow you to build to certain standards that way. Same with custom builders. Not all custom builders are what really understand how we build or why we build the way we do. They're more code builders, if you will. So you'll find more custom builders have the flexibility to allow you to upgrade things like your insulation, your windows, your HVAC, and that type of thing. But for the most part, most custom builders should be able to help you with a high performance home. So, all right, anything else that before we kind of get wrapped up here?
Not for mine.
So also I want to remind everybody that if you have questions, you can always reach us through our website, which is hibbshomesusa.com. We also invite you to listen to our podcast, Season 4. Melody, can you believe that? Season 4 is coming up right around the corner. We're going to drop mid-October, and it's The Art of Custom. Great series. We talk a lot about the custom process. We talk a lot about high-performance homes, green building, healthy homes. And speaking of healthy homes, that really is one of the benefits of building a high-performance home. That indoor air quality is going to be so much cleaner because of the systems we use, the filters we use. Mm-hmm. So for a family that might have asthma or in need of, have some medical needs and all, a high-performance home is right up your alley because of the way we build, exhausting stale air, bringing in fresh air, free of allergens.
And not only that, but indoor air quality, when you do a high-performance home and you're paying attention to green building, the ramifications of the paint that you're putting in the house, the products that you're putting in the house, nothing, formaldehyde, we try to stay away from as much as we can, carpet padding and things that are going to exhaust VOCs into the house. Yeah. So it's a part of not only the air that's coming in and exchanging with the outside, but also the products in the house that they are built with that in mind, that your indoor air quality is better.
Good point. Okay, Melody, thank you for your participation in producing the segment for us. We appreciate that. Chris, nice to have you with us.
Thank you, sir.
And great information as always. Thanks for the good work and quality control both here in St. Louis and in northern Utah for us. And thank you for joining us. Hope you have a great rest of the afternoon on this National Coffee Day. Go get yourself a cup of coffee and have a good day.